Hello, welcome to another series of tracking and dispatching terminology. So, today I'm talking about rate confirmations. So, let's start. Rate confirmation is a legal document that's signed between a broker and a carrier. And if you're an independent dispatcher looking for load for carriers, that rate confirmation is signed by you on behalf of your carrier. Okay, so broker and carrier. That's essentially what needs, who needs to sign this document in order for this to be a legal document. Rate confirmation, and then they have different names for it, but we dispatchers usually just say rate con, for short, or rate confirmation or booking confirmation. And this shows to you what has been verbally agreed upon between you as a dispatcher and a broker. So the broker will tell you about the load, what it is, and then you will ask questions. They will tell you where the load picks up, where does it deliver. Sometimes you can also ask for address for delivery or for the pickup. The broker will tell you the weight of the load, pallet count, the commodity, which is also very important. Some people don't ask, but you should ask every time. The rate, how much the load is paying. If this is a reefer load, you need to know also the product again and the temperature, if it's a continuous temperature or not, and then any kind of special instructions for the reefer, like if the trailer has to be pre-cooled, very clean, washed out, stuff like that. Also with flatbed, step decks, you need to know the size of the product, if it's pallets or some kind of machinery, what kind of size, do you need straps, do you need chains, all that when you book that load. And then all this information will be on the rate confirmation. The broker will send it to you usually via email. It used to be with fax, but nowadays it's mostly done through email. So when you get this rate confirmation, it's usually in a PDF format. Sometimes they put it in Word format, or sometimes they scan it and send it to you as a picture. But either way, you can print out this rate confirmation, look over everything, all the information that they put on it, and then make sure it matches to what they tell you, to what they told you in the beginning. Okay, if there is something that's not matching or checking out, or something that's weird, you call them or email them and ask them about that. Okay, so once everything is looked over, you will sign this rate confirmation. Now you can also sign it. Most PDF programs like Adobe Acrobat Reader, they have an option where you can digitally sign it, and then most brokers will accept that. Sometimes brokers have their own system, they send you a link, and then this link takes you to their website, and then you would sign it right there. And then once you sign it, the system will automatically send you a rate confirmation that's signed and then ready to go, and you can dispatch your driver with it. Make sure when you get the rate confirmation that you even read the fine print, because brokers like to get creative like that, hide information from you. Sometimes they would put like late fees in small print. Macro point, even though they didn't tell you about the macro point in the first place, then sometimes the rate confirmation would say something about macro point, and that the driver has to track. Otherwise, there might be consequences, like monetary consequences, or something in that nature, where they're going to charge you that if the driver is not using macro point. Sometimes they will tell you this is actually a blind load. They will send you a new bill of lading. So make sure you go over the fine print, because at the end something happens and you call broker and say, hey, you didn't tell me any of this. And they will say, well, it was on the rate confirmation. And then you can't do anything about it because you signed it. Now you feel stupid because you didn't read it. Technically, they're correct, but they should have told you something like that, okay? But they don't, okay? And they can get away with that. So make sure you read it, you sign it, either you send it back through email or fax, or you scan it if it's a printed copy and send it to them. And you also, if you have an owner operator, then usually you would send the owner operator the whole rate confirmation with all the information. And then whoever is invoicing the broker, whether it's the carrier or you're doing it on behalf of them for a fee, of course, because a lot of people are asking me if a dispatcher should do the invoices for carrier. Well, sure, but with a fee. It's not your job to do that. So if the carrier wants you to do that, you tell them, well, yeah, I'll be happy to do it, but I charge whatever, $5 per invoice or whatever you want to charge them. So once the broker has the rate confirmation, the driver is dispatched, he has his or her rate confirmation. When they deliver the load, there will be an invoice produced, and the rate confirmation will be included in invoice. So we call, nowadays factoring companies, like even RTS that I recommend, and you have their link in the description of this video. RTS does not need your invoice, if you're factoring with them. But if you're sending brokers an invoice directly, it's just a piece of paper where it states the rate and basic information about the load and who the invoice goes to, who the broker is, and where it should be paid, to whom it's payable. If it's to the carrier or to the factoring company. That's an invoice itself. So it's usually one sheet. But then we also call this packet of documents an invoice, and that will include that invoice, that like a receipt where it says like the services that you did and how much they are, and then it would include the rate confirmation. You would attach it, the one that you signed, and the bill of lading, the signed bill of lading, the proof of delivery that the driver sends to the carrier. Then these three documents form an actual invoice. Okay, so they are all part of that invoice packet, and then you would send that invoice to the broker or whoever is doing that, and then based on that, the carrier will get paid. So that's your rate confirmation. Come back for more. I'll see you around, and then I have a lot of terms to cover, so I will be making more and more of these videos.